some focus towards some of the AD forces here from CLG, taking away a couple of the mid as well as jungle pool threats in that area. With Akali being in the nerf state, I don't expect her to be in the ban phase anymore. Brokeblade already showed that he's willing to pick it, and I think that some more solo laners should consider it because there is definitely still burst potential there, but this does open up a lot more for even our first ban phase. You can already see more targeting coming out. Aphelios joining the list for CLG, and with Senna being pushed more towards the support role, see what they'll be willing to first pick down on the bottom side. That's Soraka, of course. He's got a lot of notoriety for the solo lane play recently, being banned out as well.
Yeah, with Akali recently being evicted from her ban phase apartment, Aphelios saw an awesome chance to move in there, so he's been getting a lot of love lately.
I feel like, too, with the Yuumi pick, so Yuumi on this patch also just got some really nice flat buffs, just buffs to the heal and buffs to the damage. Easy to understand, just better now.
Basic stuff.
From the flat damage point perspective. She also doesn't have to move around from champions that much anymore, so you can stick her on an Ezreal, and that's become a really popular pairing because Ezreal with the attack speed buffs as well. Also seeing a rise in priority, very mobile, so you can move around the Yuumi, but also the poke that stacks up can be really effective. Already on Golden Guardians, though, there's drafting a Sett who can soak some of the poke, has that healing passive, and some hard engage to try and force on it.
See if they lock that Nautilus in. They do, and that's exactly what we heard Goldenglue talking about. They want to put Keith on stuff that has more proactive decision-making, not just a guy whose job is to sit next to the AD carry, protect him if somebody goes on him. Keith will have the opportunity on the Nautilus to make some plays of his own.
Definitely true. Nautilus has some drawbacks where if you miss a hook and it hits a wall, though, you're in there, and it could be a bad place sometimes.
Just don't aim it at a wall.
So be careful. Yep. There's the Ezreal that I was talking about. Classic pairing here with the Yuumi. I want to see if they go full poke composition though. As you can draft Zoe fairly early on. A lot of mids are super comfortable blind picking it right now. And then you head into round 2, you can even throw some extra bans down. Aatrox super popular in the set as well because of the more of the options, especially later on in the game. Aatrox has more mobility and slightly longer range since you can do and stuff like that.
Ornn is still up, and Ornn says, hey, poke comps, here comes the horn, and just lets you engage from a long way away. So I'm not sure if we'll see Golden Guardians pick something like that up now, anticipating that sort of a choice coming out from CLG. They already do have some potent engage, as you mentioned, in the form of the Nautilus. Or we could see them lock in the Misfortune. Has been a pretty popular pick here now, like you already said. We've been seeing a lot of nerfs to Senna, and also Aphelios getting banned more. But no, it's Kai'Sa in the bottom lane for FBI.
And we've started to see teams sprinkle Kai'Sa back in, making a little comeback for herself. Nautilus is one of the ones I do like because you can set up Plasma for her. Feels quite nice. One of the classic bottom lanes people will be used to watching previous LCS games. But now, since we have those basically top and bottom sides locked in, it's all about junglers and mid laners.
Mid-jungle, baby.
What's your 2v2 going to be? I expect Golden Guardians to actually early pick jungler here, so maybe CLG throw some more bans at it. They're already focusing down the LeBlanc, see what they can leave up here. Zoe, another one of those blind picks we're talking about. Very strong right now, and CLG banning it away themselves mean they won't go full poke composition. You don't have to throw any more on top of an Ezreal Yuumi, but it definitely is a possibility.
Golden Guardians will go with a jungle ban there in the Olaf. Sometimes we see really heavy jungle focus in bans. This game was only Lee Sin banned out in that first ban phase, so the pool can't get shaved down too hard here. There's still going to be plenty of options left to choose from for either side. CLG may want to limit one of those here or just continue looking towards Goldenglue there in that mid lane. What's it going to be, CLG? And it will be Elise.
Let's see then. Rek'Sai, Sejuani, Gragas, even Trundle. If Sejuani starts to come back, then you always think about Trundle coming back as well.
Yep.
And Trundle is a part that is underestimated in poke compositions because of the pillar setting up easier skill shots to land. So you can shred the Nautilus, you can shred the Sejuani, and try and set up Ezreal Yuumi with some slows to make easier targets for your team.
Trundle also has the one of, if not the highest solo queue win rate and higher elos of play for jungle right now. Champion is very strong and is locked in against the Sejuani.
Aha, you see the pieces of a poke comp, plus enemy has double stack tanks to shred. Definitely a perfect storm for a Trundle pick like we were talking about.
And when we got to see the Sejuani earlier from Smithy, he got a ton of value from building a Warmogs early. When you go for the Cinderhulk into a Warmogs, provided you have the Runes and Mastery set up correctly, you get your 3000 HP breakpoint as soon as you hit level 12. So that could help a lot. And here we have the final pick of the draft for CLG, another unusual one, the Neeko.
And Neeko really does benefit from easier skill shots landing because the snare can be super powerful for poke compositions, and her power curve is a bit earlier oriented than, say, a Cassiopeia. Neeko does not scale as well later into the game as something like a Cassiopeia, but she has a very big mid-game spike here, especially if you can bring the setup over to her. So we'll see if they actually go for a big mid-game push, maybe try and hit up some early dragon stacking for themselves. Trundle is very good at getting those objectives because of the insane increase of attack speed that you get on your W. We shall see how well Crown can actually utilize this Neeko early, because I think you really have to make it count. Otherwise, Cassiopeia provides a lot more later into the game because of the DPS output, and her AoE stun is pretty easy to use.
And I really like how much zone control it provides for this poke comp. Ezreal, Yuumi together, the missile turret needs protection. So when you can just throw down those snares and have the big ultis zoning away the Sejuani and the Sett, that can do a lot.
And I also like when Yumi's able to hop on Neeko too, because you can greatly accelerate the Neeko jumping in as part of your initiation. So Neeko creates a pretty big zone that allows, the Trundle and the Aatrox to really get in there.
Of course, a lot of times these days, Glacial Augment is the name of the game on the Neeko. You can build yourself some Spooky Ghosts, build yourself a Super Soaker, have that many more slows to facilitate your snares connecting and help set up your team. That is what we will see Crown take on the champion here in this game against the Golden Guardians.
And again, that's part of building around this big mid push for Neeko. We're in the early stages and the mid stages of the game. Definitely need to get the most value out of it.
And as we're loading in, the Cassio will be on the Conqueror this time around. We saw it on Phase Rush in the previous match at the start of the day, going up against that Rise, but this time around just wants more damage here in the mid lane for Goldenglue.
Yeah, the damage and the healing that comes out of Conqueror Cassiopeia truly embodies the term hyper carry for League of Legends champions, at least, because she can really belt it out. And it does put a high priority on blue buffs as well. You want blue buffs, all the blue buffs on your Cassiopeia, so she can really spit out the damage. Take a quick pause here, see what's up with Goldenglue on stage. Get right back to it.
Machine Gun Cassiopeia going up against Missile Turret Ezreal Yuumi. Which one is going to win the Summoner's Rift arms race? We will find out.
How close together are they? Because at range, I like the turrets.
True question here, yeah.
But close.
The machine gun seems to have a little bit more DPS there for you. Well, I'm also going to be watching this top lane. We got to see Licorice's Sett in the previous game get ahead of Broken Blade's Akali and just take control over the entire lane. He built up a big farm lead for himself. He was punching people all over the team fights. We'll see if Aatrox can stand up to him a little bit better here.
All right, we'll get right back in the game, I think, too. Quickly resolved on stage, and let's get to it.
Neeko doing some cheeky transformations. Most people are aware of Neeko, and when it's not the real one, you almost never get to really have a huge payoff with tricking somebody, but sometimes you can manage to sneak one in there.
Honestly, the biggest payoff for Neeko tricks are on casters, because if we're looking just at the mini-map, and you're like, oh, look at this mini-map play. They don't change the icons, or they change the icons there to whoever you turn into. Try and keep on top of that one this time around. But yeah, if they're on screen, it's pretty pink.
Yeah,
very clear.
It's definitely very pink on the screen. That is one thing we've been able to observe. All right, so we got the pink Aatrox in the mid lane, the normal Aatrox in the top lane. Lots of Aatrox all over the place here for CLG. Looking to secure their second win of the split. Last game, it was all about who's going to determine the best at the very top. These teams are still looking to establish themselves after the first 3 weeks of play, and in our LCS meetings where we talk about the games and what we're expecting for the teams in the coming weeks, I said that week 3 is about where I normally say, all right, I don't want to hear any more excuses about how the team needs time to gel or we're just not quite on the same page yet. You've had the damn book for 3 weeks. Find the page. This is where I want to see the coordination. This is where I want to see everybody make it happen. And this is where I want to see the game not get paused anymore. But unfortunately, we're taking yet another break.
They went to go find the page, Flowers. You told them to go find the page. All right, Flowers, fine. We'll go find the page.
This is a project. I have said, you guys have 3 weeks to do this paper for me. And then I call for the homework. And I go, oh, I got to go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. And I try to scribble it down in a stall.
So if we're in class right now, can I count on you to make a distraction for me to go look for my homework to turn in real quick? Flowers, quick.
We're running a scam for the class.
Go talk to the teacher real quick. Let me find it.
Oh, I forgot my dog ate my backpack. Sorry. But we are paused one more time. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully we can get this resolved for you guys here real quick. And there's not really a whole lot that we can commentate on for the state of the game happening. We can see that both junglers did start on the bottom side of the map and are now pathing towards that top side. Closer is going straight from his blue buff into his top side jungle just to make sure that that doesn't get stolen away early on. Doesn't want to bother clearing out the Gromp or the Wolves. And it looks like Wiggily is still clearing out the rest of that red.
Yeah, and with the Talisman start there for Sejuani, feels really good about doing those AoE camps. Again, gets the bonus level 1 attack speed now, so that's why we're seeing the resurgence of the champion. And for people who have not seen kind of the classic matchup of the Trundle into it, you want to get those Trundle ultimates off on the target right after they proc the Aftershock, so they have those bonus stats right then. That's when you get the full value. And then even after they drop off, it's worse for the target losing it, but Trundle still gets the value there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Sometimes it's pretty hard to notice the Trundle ultimate. It's one of those ults that does have a really big impact on the game because you can then shred that tank, but the visual is very slight, so sometimes you won't notice how big of a part Trundle is playing in the game. And we talked about in Champion Select how well it can also work with setting up skill shots for the Neeko, for the Ezreal, for the Yuumi. Trundle Pillar goes such a long way. In previous iterations of Trundle, we've even seen pros at least put more points into the Pillar early on, maxing that.
Yeah.
Because you can get your lower cooldown. It also increases the slow, and you just spam it out over and over as you group up with the team and have Trundle kind of sit back and bite anyone who gets close.
Exactly. It's easy to put this champion in a more supportive role from the jungle. Oftentimes you will see him go with Cinder Hulks, just be big tanks there for the front line. Press the attack, gives the extra damage multiplier after you manage to get the
Pillar gank!
And mid lane, oh, come on!
We've decided to go with slideshow style for this round.
The lovely sepia tone over the slides.
It gives more time to judge the play. Pillar here used it pretty well. He gets the side knockback.
There's a guy over there that has a sign in the audience. It's a giant sad Pepe with says feels bad, man.
I think it's a Mumu. Is it?
Oh, is it a Mumu?
Can I see? Can you turn it a little bit?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's a Mumu.
Okay, yeah, it's a Mumu. Okay. I saw a sad green thing, and I thought it was a frog. Because
You've been watching a lot of Twitch, my friend.
My bad.
A Mumu. I think I saw some buffs on the public beta realm test.
Maybe he's got some Amumu buffs.
So that's looking a little bit less sad, maybe.
Are you gonna be a big Amumu boy?
I have a problem bringing back Amumu. It definitely is one of my old favorite champions, but now I really can't play junglers that don't have dashes or movement speed increases.
Just get a little bit too restricted, huh?
Once you play one of those new ones with that fancy dancy dashes and speed.
Wait, but I thought you're an Olaf player.
Yeah, I mean, you get speed when you run at people and you hit them with the axe and you have the, whatchamacallit, keystone with accelerated speed.
The keystone?
Approach velocity.
That's not even a keystone. That's a rune. You're trolling. I only play stuff that dashes around and runs fast. And now you're playing a dude that don't dash and makes other people run slow.
He runs fast. Approach velocity. They thought I was kidding about the slideshow. I was not kidding.
No, this is 100% truth. For what it's worth, I am not sure what these frequent and unsolvable issues are. If we get any information, I will be able to update you guys. There's our stat, Momo. Mr. MVP in the audience, I salute you. You created the perfect sign for the day and didn't even know it when you did it. A true prophet for our time.
Sounds like the problem has something to do with switching languages for Smoothie's keyboard.
Okay, okay. Smoothie's keyboard language keeps switching.
That sounds like there's some off in the relay of info. So we'll just move on to the water drinking
do you know how to here? Keyboards and stuff? Because I was going to say, I have no idea what it sounds like. I am not well versed in this at all. Okay, well, compare it to spilling water on your keyboard. It's like the language went wrong, but it's the same effect because we can't use the keyboard, right? That's my version of this science.
Agree.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Actually, that sounds like a pretty fun video series. Captain Flowers attempts science. Like we could get you. You know they have those online science classes.
Yeah.
Set you up with one of those science kits and see a quick 3-minute video. Captain Flowers interpretation of simple science concepts. I like this.
And pouring water.
I'm gonna write one of these.
You're gonna buy me.
I'm gonna write a skit.
You're writing this skit now. We'll just make a science that I would do. That's what we can do the next time we have a big pause. We can teach people science on the LCS stream so they have an educational experience before we get back to the video game.
This is fun.
Yeah. Then when your parents tell you, you need to turn off them video games, those are melting your brain, be like, no, Mom, I learned science.
I did a decent amount of science. I was engineering background, so I can get some material stuff together for you.
You're the professor.
I got you. This is gonna be fun.
This is.
In the meantime, though, let's get back to some LCS gameplay here.
We're in. All right, Smoothie, I'm praying for your keyboard, bro. I hope it works out because we are back into the game. 3 minutes in, resetting the stage and everybody's expectations here. We got Closer and Wiggily both near the top side. Wiggly's only level 2 on this Trundle, does not have access to all the abilities. Running up now. Ruin is there. They're going to look to take the fight to Hauntzer, but Closer has showed up and turned it around. Ruin gets himself away, and it's just going to be flashes spent there by Golden Guardian's jungler and the top laner from CLG.
And they're still going to get the push afterwards here for CLG too. As Wiggily sticks around to push that one in. Can he get a pillar to stop the recall? That's the most annoying Trundle play. Cooldown is too long right now, as it's still level 1. He doesn't want to stick around. Let's Closer get back to base. I think that's actually pretty big for Closer that no interrupt here because Sejuani can't fall back behind. Her bottom side of the jungle is still up. Thankfully, bottom lane gets the bottom scuttle for Golden Guardians to get a little extra defense in place. Always feels so nice. When your bottom lane has a crowd control ability, able to take the armor magic resist off of the scuttle crab, and you're able to push up and grab that for yourselves and for your team. Meanwhile, Wiggly seen on the ward from Golden Guardians, so they know the Trundle whereabouts and he can continue.
I like how CLG kept Wiggly topside to make sure that wave got all the way shoved into, let Ruin get himself back to base, shop up, not have to use his TP. He was the one who took the brunt of the damage in the top lane 2v2, but they put him in a spot where he should still be able to succeed rather well in that lane as Closer hits level 4 here on the Sejuani. See if he wants to make a play towards the bottom side. He can dash over the wall of the Drake Pit with the Arctic Assault, but it does have like a 20-second cooldown, so he would have to wait. Instead, he'll go for the river play, but stepping on a ward means that won't work this time.
Yeah, that the nerf to the Q is one of the ones a long time ago, which changed people from maxing W into E and the W into Q to try and get that cooldown lower, so she still has some mobility. But again, all the efforts there from CLG put into keeping Ruin safe after his flash is blown. Generally, it's a very good trade for Golden Guardians to trade your jungle Sejuani flash for the Aatrox, because Closer can just farm up in the jungle. Sejuani has a built-in dash, much safer for her, rather than being exposed in that super long lane. So that's why Wiggly went through that entire process of controlling it for him.
And you can see Closer there just stopping by mid lane, helping Goldenglue make sure that wave gets pushed out so he can get back to base, get the back timer he's looking for. On Cassiopeia, it's important to have the tier, make sure you're stacking that up as quickly as possible. Top side is Hauntzer with control over the lane here on the Sett, has a small CS lead over his opponent in Ruin. And just a nice little haymaker for some poke, but remember, as soon as you see Sett use the haymaker, that's your window to fight him.
Yep.
After the shield dissipates, of course.
It's a big part of what everybody cites for Aatrox in this one. Makes it really easy to lane your sweet spots. You can see Ruin takes advantage there, does get both of them. Meanwhile, Closer's back. And this is the no flash Aatrox. Level 6 now on Hauntzer. This has got to be the play. He's got flash. Boom.
Got him. There comes your face breaker. Gets behind him to drag him back into the middle of the lane. Closer shows up. He's got the CC into the lockdown. The damage goes through. Ruin's in some trouble, but he's fighting it off very well. He's taken down, and now they're going to see if they can grab any more. Goldenglue makes it into the top side. Nearly going to be killed off now himself, and that's a 1-for-1. CLG continuing to chase after this one. Face breaker, haymaker. Crown still walks out.
Yeah, CLG are able to get that one back. Ruin actually healing up a lot with the Conqueror. And ultimate popped on Aatrox. Delays a long time, chunks down Closer. And when they teleport in, Neeko here, Crown, does get the bigger lockdown on Goldenglue. Since Wiggly's there to close the gap, they get the kill on mid lane. With both of them channeling teleports, and the wave actually pushing away from Crown. So he's a little bit sad about the wave state from mid lane after going topside, but much happier at least at getting the kill credits.
Paused again now. We'll see if it's the same issue or a different one. Okay, once again, I've been told it is keyboard issues. Doing our best to get these resolved. The biggest difference right now in the game when we're looking at the farm is that top side. Hauntzer's Sett does have a 15 lead over the Aatrox of Ruin. We've seen both junglers make a couple visits toward that top part of the map. Mid laners roaming up too. Everybody wants to get involved. But now that those TPs are down, it means that they'll have to do it the old-fashioned way if they want to go that way again.
All right. Well, now that I have you, let's get back to this Captain Flowers and Kobe science experiment here.
Well, they want to replay first. You have to talk them through that.
So this is exactly what we're talking about for the setup. No flash on top laner. As soon as he gets level 6, Sett goes in. You get your stun there for Hauntzer, ults him back, and they get the kill. But because they chase him into the alcove and Wiggily heads up at the same timing with the teleport, Crown gets the lockdown on Goldenglue right there for the counter kill for CLG. So it's not nearly as bad as it could have been for them. And Crown pretty happy to get that kill credit, although we did go over the fact that his wave in mid lane was pushing away from him during all the time that spent going up to the top side. And since both mid laners had to use teleports, it is going to be a nice wave state for Goldenglue when he does get back. Now, do you want to start with biology, physics, or chemistry?
Chemistry's the one the crowd wants. I heard
physics. I'm a big physics fan.
Wait, why are you even asking me if you're going to choose yourself?
I'm taking crowd input here.
Okay, all right.
We're doing it for them.
We're trusting the crowd. All right, crowd, whichever one you vote for.
Even though this is to also educate you, it's mostly for entertainment for them, not you. I'm not doing it for you.
Okay, wonderful. All right, crowd said physics, so we're going physics.
Oh, sounds like it.
Okay, that's what
I heard some boos, actually. There's
some people don't like physics, my friend. All right, what do you got?
Actually, technically, physicists will tell you that every form of science is physics. Because if you get down small enough, everything has to do with the interaction of particles.
Everything moves. Okay, great.
Gotcha.
I learned some science here today. Now, what are you going to teach me, Professor?
I mean, I got to make my lesson plan first. I'm just.
This is 3 lines on a piece of paper.
Exactly.
This is not a lesson plan. Here, I'm just going to take this as this is where I'm supposed to write my name at the top. This is probably the only question in the whole quiz I'm going to get right. Wait, I wrote my real name.
So should I give him multiple choice though, or is it gonna have to be like show your work? Because I feel like I want to have him show work, draw some.
What's today's date? It's February. Just gonna scribble something because I don't.
You
remember.
don't got the date right either. Oh.
It's February something. That's me, and this is third period. This is the third day of the game.
Third game of the day. Okay. Pretty close there, yeah.
All right, here's my.
All right,
homework.
We'll get this one started. We'll pop out a YouTube video. You keep your eyes on that Loli Sports channel.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. We're doing that just fine. We're still updating everything here in the game, trying to make sure that the keyboard is okay for Smoothie. We'll get back in as soon as we can. If I get an ETA, I will update you all. But for now, we are just hanging tight here. Remember, game is paused just a couple seconds shy of 7 minutes in. Score is tied 1-1 between these two teams, but it is a gold lead for the Golden Guardians.
And we're going to have to look at the follow-up play after as well. The ramifications of this top lane action. It wasn't offensively blown fast, so let's get back into it. Here we go.
All right. Fingers crossed, 6 times the charm. Let's see how these two stack up against each other with FBI and Keith making the rotation up from the bottom side. Look on your screen, you can see how close everybody is to those level 6s. They've already been acquired for the solo laners from both sides, for the jungler from CLG. Closer still has yet to get his ulti here on the Sejuani. Kai'Sa very close to getting that killer instinct too.
And this right here is what I'm talking about. This line, oh no. Whoops. That line where Goldenglue had the minions resulted from the top lane play, so he was super happy to keep it there. Wiggily though.
Wiggily throwing down the pillar. Hauntzer getting beat up right about now, and Ruin will take the kill.
And that is why I mentioned an offensively blown flash in the top lane can be punished just as much of it as a defensively blown one. So the ramifications of that top lane play afterwards, CLG, they're the ones that get Wiggily, heads right back to the top side. And although Trundle Pillar is not effective at ganking champions that do have dashes,
turns out Sett does not.
Very good at ganking champions that do not. Exactly. So chase down kill there for CLG. They get one back in the aftermath.
And when CLG went from being a lower tier team to one of the teams that made it to the upper half of playoffs last year in summer, a lot of it was off of Wiggily making plays for this squad. He is very critical if they want to find their success. Of course, the jungler is always going to be important, but specifically for that squad, it seemed like game after game, Wiggily was the guy we were praising. So to see him being involved in these kills, making things happen, I think is exactly what you're looking for this CLG.
Yeah, they'll definitely be happy about that one. Meanwhile, for the bottom lane, their poke lane, Stixxay and Smoothie just farming away quite easily here. As we said, blue buff always on Cassiopeia here. Now Goldenglue to be able to stack up a bit easier. And if you have this much setup for Dragon, they're actually doing a very good job controlling for the Scuttler arrival. Closer does have ultimate, but Crown mobile enough and does have flash too. You'll trade the ultimate for flash every time, but yeah, Crown doing a good job hovering top side.
9 minutes into the game, neither side has gone for a Rift Herald or a Drake yet. CLG have moved Wiggily and Smoothie up into that river to secure the bottom side scuttle. Goldenglue low on mana, half HP. He's just kind of looking juicy here in the mid lane, saying, oh man, don't you guys want to kill me? I'm just a little Cassiopeia. He's got 2 people waiting in the brush, but CLG won't take the bait. Meanwhile, Stixxay nearly gets solo killed there in the bottom lane by FBI.
Yeah, FBI jumps right in with the killer instinct and gets the flash down, but he might gonna flash on his own.
He has to flash away from that when Wiggily shows up. The reinforcements arrive, and that's flash for flash there on the 80 carries in the bottom side.
Equivalent exchange, my friend.
That's
it's the rule from Alchemist. It's also a rule from the junglers.
Okay, rule for the junglers, but top side, he just got thrown halfway out of Summoner's Rift and then right back into the arena. Ruin gets collapsed on here, but he is not done just yet. It's Hauntzer who walks away worse for wear in that game.
Yeah, definitely a little bit lower there on the health as they exit the trade. It also, and a lot bigger of a consequence here since your jungler shows top. Clayton, answer me this. Question number 1 on the quiz.
What do you got, Professor?
What is the objective on the bottom side of the map that you're going to be able to get?
Can I go with A, Mountain Drake?
You're such a good student.
Oh, look at that. I've been studying up. That's an objective for the side of CLG. They go up a couple hundred gold in the process. It is a late first Drake, so we're not going to see even the potential of a soul being online with a 4-0 as early as we did the last game, but CLG are happy to take anything they can get.
I do really like Mountain Drake for this squad as well. On top of the stats that Wiggily gets to steal away from Closer. Have a nice tanky front line for themselves. Well, it's a little bit more durable of a back line. They get dove upon.
Super Soaker's also done here for Crown in the mid lane, so that Neeko will have the extra power of using that active to trade, to use the Glacial Augment proc on it as well, and really set things up if Wiggily makes it back into this mid lane for a gank.
And it's just in time to set up for the Rift Herald. Actually, they're already starting it here. Wiggily walked over by himself. They haven't even recalled the bottom lane, so I think this could be a mistake.
Well, Crown's in trouble. Goldenglue is providing the damage. Keith is providing the CC. And the Toucan has arrived.
He popped off last week for the Golden Guardians, and he makes the roam mid really count. While they were over getting their control wards in around the Rift Herald. Keith doesn't go back to base for the recall and roam out to the objective. He roams to get mid priority first. And that is something that's so big when contesting all these objectives, the Dragons and the Rift Heralds. Getting control of your mid lane by ganking there guarantees that you're able to get it without anyone fighting back. It also means that FBI alone on bottom side is giving up turret plates though, so we'll be able to cash in. This ward on Crown, he already used all of his abilities and got set up with a really good stun from Goldenglue. So that is very good play by Goldenglue setting it up, but also good coordination, keep timing their rival there, talking about how he's roaming up from the river.
Teamwork makes the dream work. We talked about Hakuo and Smithy earlier on today in that first game, working together as the Nautilus with the Sejuani. And in this game, it's that Nautilus doing the same thing, being there when the support can roam, when he's not just sitting there next to the AD carry like we talked about with things similar to a Braum or a Tom Kench. Keith just seems more in his element.
And honestly, the Golden Guardians comp here really excels at starting off the fights. They've got Nautilus, Sejuani, and Cassiopeia with a killer instinct ready from Kaisa. So if they're the ones who get the ward to actually start it out, you pick your target, and it should be pretty easy for them to layer those CCs and get their engagement. Gonna have to wait another almost 2 minutes for the dragon to come up, so you probably want a full clear of the jungle from Raptors on down to blue side. Hand off your blue to the Cassiopeia, then you can set up on dragon. Should be the communication here for Golden Guardians. Meanwhile, topside, you can see it's a Trundle sneaking into the side lane brush.
A lot of focus up here in this top lane from junglers so far this game. Rift Herald Eye still available for closer as well. That one, just as I say it, does appear to be summoned up. That'll be charging down mid lane. There's no plates left to get. Unfortunately, those fell 15 seconds ago, so extra gold not going into anyone's pockets on that one, but will they be able to get the tier 1? Looks like Crown will still hold on.
They weaken it in time for the dragon, but not going to be able to take it. So I think CLG here being able to keep mid turret standing at least for the next few minutes to set up for Cloud Dragon. It's going to be really big. It looks like through the jungle though, Sejuani's over the wall, over a ward, looking for a bottom lane dive.
Stixxay just hanging out. He's got Smoothie attached to him for extra peel potential. Remember, Yuumi is able to read that final chapter and make it so that you have powerful disengage if everybody tries to pile onto the AD carry and does not immediately kill them. That bottom lane tier 1 turret taking a lot of damage though. Keith on the front line, good sidestep away from True Shot Barrage, and Golden Guardians just continue applying the pressure.
Yeah, Poke actually landing and leaving a mark onto Keith. The shields from Keith actually, he wasn't able to block damage with these activations. A lot of them are in between the Poke openings here for Stixxay and Smoothie, so they're pretty happy about weakening that Nautilus in preparation for the Dragon. Even though Golden Guardians did a lot of setup work and went for the invade and left a lot of these wards, they get chunked out on health, so that allows an opening here for CLG to walk on this timing, and they're taking it.
And I like the fact that Ruin is down here and ready. He doesn't have his teleport prepared, even though Hauntzer does. That means CLG needs all 5 ready to go if they want to take this, and that appears to be the call. Cloud Drake taken down below half HP will be secured, no contest. We get an Infernal Rift this time around, so more damage will be spawning from here on out, and CLG have a 2-0 Drake lead.
Yeah, they're real happy about that one. With all the time that Golden Guardians just spent only to get poked back to base for a perfect dragon timing here for CLG. Now they can just go back to farming here. You can see Stixxay and Smoothie play it really safe. Ezreal, Yuumi easily able to keep their distance. No objective trying to pull them into the rest of the map. And they want to continue stacking up those dragons. So I think it is up to Golden Guardians here. See what they can actually try and force. Two stopwatches total for themselves right now, and both of them are on the initiators.
which is what you want to see this early on in the game, because you can see that there's not quite enough money to turn those defensive pieces plus the stopwatch into the full stone plate for Keith. Closer also not quite high enough level yet to be that massive brick wall of a tank in that Sejuani, so they will need those stasises to initiate without worrying about being blown up completely. And you can see right there on your screen, don't forget LCS is a 3-day show this split, and now we're going to see the damage come down. Crown, that's not what you want to see from him, as Goldenglue and Closer work together to grab the kill and the turret. Meanwhile, bottom side River, it's Wiggily starting off a fight here in a 2v2. He's got Smoothie attached, but now Stixxay coming in from behind. Keith has to go Golden, staying alive. A mistimed Mystic shot means they're able to get their support out, and the Golden Guardians walk away.
Keith will live to fight another day after that one. Teleports our channel down to the bottom side, though, and they're going to keep this one up. They do have a decent amount of sustain, but not a lot of time to work with. Because as soon as Keith heals up back into base, it is going to be numbers disadvantage for them. And the tower remains.
You always hate to see it when you miss the timing on the stasis. It's been 2.5 seconds for years now. It's something that a lot of players have down, but still, even when something's memorized to that degree, it's possible to have a goof here and there. And we'll take a look at the play that they made mid first before we look at bottom. And there it is. Sejuani ulti seals the deal.
Closer just nails the shot right there. What a Sejuani ultimate. Finds them the kill mid, and that means CLG are working on borrowed time. Their mid just died.
Oh, another fight starting up. Keith does not have the stasis anymore. That time they'll grab him. Goldenglue is able to throw down the miasma. Stixxay really going to be killed. And there you go. Hauntzer brings in the firepower. It's a double kill for the boss.
You take down Keith, you're going to pay for it. The rest of Golden Guardians do collapse, and they get their AoE off. See what they can do afterwards, as it is going to be a second Rift Herald spawn, but there's annoying poke coming through.
But that poke does not have a whole lot of oomph behind it. The Ezreal's still dead. Ruin's still dead. Stixxay's able to make it into the fight with a TP if this is dragged out, but Ruin is not. Golden Guardians, 4 members in the pit. Keith coming in from the base now. We'll see if Crown's able to do much with the Pop Blossom. Doesn't look like it. Big Haymaker coming out, keeping Hauntzer protected. However, Closer will fall. It's a 1-for-1 here. Mid laner traded for jungler. Rift Herald picked up by the side of the Golden Guardians. Stixxay has arrived, but he cannot jump into this with only a Yuumi, not 2v4.
Crown trying to snare them in place to keep them around for the arrival of the Ezreal with teleport, but takes a haymaker right in the noggin, and that is not exactly what CLG were hoping for off of this Rift Herald. Keith, he was trying to get vision for the team. Closer wasn't very, well, close to him when it happened, so they get the big turnaround. Yeah, it was a Cassiopeia ultimate to start it out, and then Hauntzer gets the big dunk into the back line, gets the edge of the haymaker to finish off the extra damage as well, and then this is the setup fight. Crown goes in, he gets stopped, he only gets the root onto the Sett, and then the Yuumi as well follows up, but Hauntzer's happy to take the brunt of it. Sejuani flash at the end going down actually might be big. Closer won't have that one as well, and they do get the 1 trade back on the kill. But that is about it.
And I really like when you look at the itemization, you can see Seraph's Embrace fully evolved for Goldenglue. Decided to complete the Morello Nomicon, which is very important against the healing on a Trundle and an Aatrox. It will allow Golden Guardians to make sure that they can cut through those tanks, those frontliners on the CLG squad, I should call them, instead of tanks, more bruisers. But with those two having their innate healing, plus Smoothie being able to attach and heal them, I think these Grievous Wounds will play a big role in these fights and being able to stop CLG. FBI unloads the Acathian Rain, but only onto a clone of Crown, Spooky Ghosts, looking to find the slows onto the Golden Guardians members. The Drake has been started. Remember, CLG already has 2 of these. Golden Guardians have to be careful about giving away any more. Wiggily staying close to the pit, looking to maybe steal it away, and he does it! Exactly what CLG wanted. Now they'll grab a kill onto Keith as well. Closer's taken into the stasis, a double kill over to FBI. Crown grabs the Pop Blossom onto a couple. He's gonna be able to find himself a kill. A double over to Smoothie. CLG have lost 3 but killed 3. A 2v2 remains, and there is no way for either of these immobile champions to get on Stixxay.
And the critical part is they stole the dragon though. CLG, Wiggily gets in there, and now they're on soul points. 21.5 minutes on the third kill there for the Dragon. For the Golden Guardian side, though, more money being racked up by the solo laners. And let's take a look at how it happens. Wiggily with the very quick move speed on Trundle, dodges the hook, then runs back in for the steal. And although he does immediately go down, they'll gladly take that for the extra threat of stacking up soul. And then in the return fight here, closer stopwatch does buy time, but Crown goes in, gets the stun. He immediately runs. You can tell. He needs to get away from Cassiopeia ASAP, but running in a straight line, Hauntzer lines it up, finishes him off there with the haymaker. And the extra gold here for Golden Guardians in their solo lanes is going to be a big deal. Cassiopeia, as you talked about, with the Conqueror is going to be a very big threat for themselves.
2 damage difference between Ezreal and Cassiopeia. Both of them nearly putting down the same amount of pain in that last fight. It is evident who is doing the heavy lifting in these brawls. Baron alive, River Control currently under the property of Golden Guardians, as that top lane Rift Herald is dropped. It's Closer providing that one to get the extra damage over to Goldenglue as this pushes up. That should secure the turret. Third turret of the game for Golden Guardians, but Key is once again picked off.
Pan camera over and instant kill on the Nautilus for you. Another catch for CLG. They'll happily take that one right up mid. This is really going to put a hamper on the game plan for Golden Guardians. Down a member, they're just going to have to seed some objectives here. Mid tower is going to open up a lot of room here. And you can already see the deep control wards placed and the flank in the process.
Goldenglue, nice petrifying gaze onto Crown, just kills him in the duration of the CC. Wiggily shows up with Smoothie, but that Cassiopeia, you don't want to go close.
Snake in the grass, Captain Flowers. They got a flank on him, but if you lose track of the snake inside the brush there and you only have one member around, Goldenglue, really big pick. Takes down Crown, starts up the Baron because once again, Cassiopeia can burn it down so quickly. CLG giving up everything here. Can Wiggily do it again?
Keith has respawned. It's Wiggily in the pit. It's Wiggily just deleted as Keith is now going to continue the fight. FBI's into the back line with a killer instinct. He's exhausted. Stixxay with a flash over the wall to stay alive. Golden Guardians secure the Baron and grab the kill onto the enemy jungler. Stixxay tries to just provide a little bit of interrupt on the recalls, but CLG critically on the back foot now after their mid laner gets picked and Golden Guardians take their shot.
All right, here's another look at the setup. Wiggily tries to flash in. It's still at 1600 though, and all of Golden Guardians stop DPS. They don't want to let it get low enough for Trundle, who has no real extra burst damage, to get a lucky smite in there. So good focus there from the Golden Guardians. Everybody's on the same page. They pull off of it, and now they should be able to push forward. So even if, you know, you're a team with Trundle and you're thinking, okay, so we can set up poke with the pillar, and then we can even fight front to back by shredding a frontline member. You Trundle ult a tank, then you can actually kill tanks. You don't have to dive. You're facing insane backline killing power. Cassiopeia, Goldenglue is almost level 16. And on top of that, they have the Kai'Sa with Rage Blade stacked up. So they can also quickly burn through whatever kind of frontline you present. And it takes away one of those possibilities for them. Baron buff means that they get to march towards the inhibitor tower very quickly here for the Golden Guardians.
Goldenglue has a full rabbit on death cap. Closer is leading the charge. Wiggily is locked down. Closer has to flash away to keep himself safe. A lot of CC potentially coming in there from that final chapter. FBI half HP. Closer needs to regenerate. He went for Knight's Vow. He has no Warmogs. This is not what we saw from McSmithy earlier on in the day. Hauntzer now in a troublesome spot. Tries to go for the ulti, tries to go for the outplay. Flashing over the wall now instead. Follow-up damage is there. A shutdown for Stixxay, but at the cost of the bottom lane inhibitor turret. Golden Guardians know they can't force onto the inhibitor itself, but they will take that defensive objective. CLG now in a 5 versus 4. Wiggly's stasis will keep him alive. Goldenglue's gonna be locked down, stunned up, but he has all the damage in the world. Wiggily on the run, Stixxay on the run. Everybody on CLG is just disappearing in front of their eyes. It is a 4-0 for Golden Guardians in a 4v5. Hauntzer still respawning from where he got picked off earlier, But Golden Guardians, they know they win the game right now. Smoothie alone will not protect these Nexus turrets. He will not hold on to this game. And Golden Guardians, 26 minutes, 45 seconds, will take down CLG. FBI's just looking to pad the stats, and there you go.